back to the channel. Hope you're doing really well on the prison planet. Back today with another video. I'm going to be looking at Darius J. Wright. I already did a video on him a couple of years ago now, but he's becoming more and more relevant, prevalent, whatever the word. He was pretty relevant back then. Huge views, being shared everywhere, algorithm pushing it, interviews everywhere. Now it's even more, right? So I thought I'd take another look. Before I do, guys, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you'd like to work with me, check out my website, transcendingtimes.org. So, when I reviewed him last time, first thing to say, he's got a massive cult following. Now, when I say cult following, go back, look at those comments, and you'll see the reaction, right? You know you're in a cult if your leader cannot be questioned. And the reactive way that these people came in the comments, you know, lambasted me, projected at me, it's fine, I can take it. But it just showed to me there's a cult going on, right? Which is dangerous because you should never put people on pedestals. You should never, you should always have that discernment at the forefront. So that also says a lot about the people that follow him as well as Darius himself. But there was all kinds of weird symbology. He had the monarch butterflies. People were disregarding that because they've done little to zero research in symbology. If you have done research in symbology, you'll know that it represents mind control, monarch monarch butterflies. Since then, he got rid of those. Now, whether or not it was because of the video, who knows? But there was all kind of justifications for that. And at this stage of the game, if you're ignoring symbology, then you're going to be deceived because they tell us all the time through symbols, hand signals, you know, the one eye, all of this stuff, right? And so anyway, like I say, he's become more and more, he's on Gaia TV. It's like the new age capital for all the shills. He's been like, the algorithm's sharing him everywhere. He's doing interviews all over the place, right? So there's a lot of red flags. There were red flags back then. And like I say, he's becoming more prominent. He kind of says a lot without saying much at all. He says that everything's just love. I mean, what does that even mean realistically? You know, he also says that we're somehow creating this, this soul trap, even though we know that there's a strategic system in place. We know there is a light that is, you know, magnetizing souls into it. We know that entities are masquerading as loved ones, as guides, as angels, and then there's the life review and the memory wipe. So to say that we all created this just by our thoughts is a huge deception for me. It's very dangerous. A lot of people take this on. I have people, when I speak about the soul trap, say to me, well, you're creating it yourself. No, we're not. But, and also, like, what about all the people that died and are being recycled back here? You know, were they kind of creating the soul trap by their thoughts, even though they weren't aware of the soul trap? So there's a lot of things. He also deals with these guides that show him, you know, apparently show him the nature of reality. Guides, I say, are entities in the astral, masquerading entities. I wouldn't trust any of them. So there's a lot of red flags, and I just feel with him, as he gets bigger, as we move forward into there's going to be an even bigger rug pull. He's also said that the simulation's finished, or it's over, or it's ending. And to me, that's another red flag because, you know, I don't see that. I see data centers going up everywhere. I see them, you know, they want to transfer our consciousness. They already have the technology. I don't see that this is ending. And I think to take on that belief system is very dangerous. Because if you think it's ending, then you just sit back, relax, don't do anything. It's okay, Darius told me it's ending. Very dangerous. And like I say, I don't see it ending. I see it getting worse at this point. So anyway, let's have a look what he's saying now. See what he says.
Nothing could ever touch or entrap you, the soul, unless you believe it to be so. Stop imprisoning yourself.
See, this is exactly what I'm saying. You know, again, he's blaming us. The Matrix always wants to blame us. So it's our fault, right? We know that there's a trick, right? A trick, he calls it trap. Some people call it trap. I prefer trick. We know this is going on. I'll say it again. There are enough accounts now of people being met with these deceptive entities, going to the light, having their memory wiped, being guilt tripped with karma and the idea of hell, to come back. So, okay, it's not exactly a trap, it's more like a trick. But to say that we're creating this with our thoughts, this is the dump in the dump in the punch bowl. This is the rug pull, as far as I'm concerned.
Fear is born from loss of something. And in love, there is no loss. Love itself even has the power to change the cells within you back to their pure.
Yeah, I mean, what are cells? Cells are, you have cells in a prison, right? The body itself, in my opinion, is a prison. Our consciousness has been incarcerated in these meat suits. So, okay, yeah, you can change your cells, but you're still in the prison, you're still in the body.
Pure estate. Look at all the people that have the perceived wealth in life, but yet because they're not heaven or enjoy within themselves, they complain and are miserable.
But all right, joy, love. Okay, so if we all go around being joyful, like, where is that actually getting us? Is that getting it out? Is that getting us out of this system that we're in? It's all kind of buzzwords. It all sounds good. It feels good. Oh, love and joy and yeah, great. But this is what the New Agers say. Everything's love. It's all love. It's not all love. People are dying. Kids are starving. Kids are being raped. You have a body to contend with that gets sick, that gets diseased. You have to pee and poop, and it's not all love and it's not all joy, no matter what you say.
Where did you show love? And where you did not show love? And you're never unworthy of love, unconditional love, or home itself, because everybody's returning there. And everybody, no matter what they've done in life, will always be loved all the same. My name is Darius Wright. In this video, I want to really explain home. What home is, what everybody is looking for, what everybody is deep within themselves wanting to know, but can't find. If you don't understand the...
What's with the palm picture that keeps changing side to side? Like, there's a number of palms there. Is that significant to anything?
Things of love. You won't understand that 100% of the time what you're looking for in all of these other directions is actually you're searching for home, and the only way to find it is through love.
But we see that this doesn't play out with the NDEs. I mean, he never talks about these things. He never talks. I mean, I've never heard him talk about like the memory wipe or anything like that. Like, he just bypasses all these other things.
This is very important for people to understand that watch this. Love can be defined in a very simple way. And people overcomplicate this because when they're trying to search for love, they're trying to search for love in a way that they are...
Spell the word love back. What does it sound like? You do the maths. I'm sure they use love against us all the time. They use our love and empathy, our want for love, our need for love. They use it all the time. They know that, I mean, at some level, what I do agree with is probably we are searching for something like that. More like freedom, I think. True freedom over kind of love. But love is used against us in this matrix, without doubt. We see that with the love bite relationships. We see this with the New Agers and people like him that saying it's all love, everything's love, which, it's not. We know that.
Are familiar with in terms of their analytical thinking program mind construct. And you'll never find love within the mind. You'll never find love with the trying to understand it just with that question.
See, more demonizing of the mind. We see this of the New Agers. They don't want you in the mind, because if you're in the mind, or you use the mind along with your intuition and your gut feeling, it's kind of the triad there: the heart, the gut feeling, and the brain. You know, then you're not discerning, right? If you're not discerning, you're not using your mind. And these people, this is why there's so much demonization of the mind in the New Age. You hear it all the time with these gurus in white cloaks saying, you're in the mind, don't be in the mind. Because the mind is a useful tool to help you discern and make judgments, which is another thing you're not allowed to do in the New Age. You're not allowed to judge, because they don't want you doing that. They don't want you deeply thinking, deeply discerning, right? So they demonize the tools that we use to do that, which part of that is the mind.
Question. So when you ask the question, "What is love?" you all have already set yourself up in a position where you will never find love, because love can't be asked and explained to you in the way that a lot of people want it explained, because love is felt. Love is felt. How do you explain authenticity? How do you basically go to an individual and say, "Explain to me, what is your authentic self"?
This is his solution as well for like the afterlife. It's his solution is to just embody this love that he talks about. But again, if you've got masquerading entities, you've got, what, you're supposed to just love all of those as well. I mean, it bypasses discernment, like I say.
The moment that the individual tries to explain what its authentic self is, it stops being authentic, because it's in a state of constantly just being itself, not even trying. And that's what love is. It's not something that you try to be or something that you try to understand. It's something that you just are, and you just be it.
I really need to look into the symbology of the hand. I'll get a chance to do that after this now, but I don't know. It's just random, just like. And brick walls, right? Brick walls are symbolic of masons, right? Building of the bricks, right? Look into it. Symbology.
You just be yourself unconditionally. Allowing yourself to be yourself unconditionally. That is love. That is the shortest definition of love to get people to understand, because once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. But once you think you know it.
See what I mean? He says a lot without saying anything. It's just repeating the same sort of thing without it really meaning anything. Like, what does it mean to embody love? And just nothing. It's a nothing burger.
You may believe something else and therefore you lose it. The feeling of it can never disappear. And once you feel it, once you understand what I'm telling you, then love is a felt state. And it's felt through people expressing themselves. It's felt through connections. You can't define it, because defining it puts a border and limit on love itself. And love is actually the infinite. Love is the infinite. So the moment you try to define love, you then.
It kind of reminds me of, when David Icke says it's all love and everything is an illusion. Again, those kind of quotes gaslight me, right? Because again, we know it's not all love. There's suffering on the other side as well, when you look at what's really going on there with the loosh farms and people being siphoned off their energy there and ended up in these like afterlife earthly realms where there's jobs and people have money. So it's not all love.
Put limits on the infinite itself, and therefore that's what love is not. That's love. Once you are in love with somebody else, first and foremost, you can never love somebody else unless you first love yourself. You can never share that which you are not
again?
within yourself.
What is that all about?
So, when you try to share love with somebody else in the way that the current understanding of the way love is today, then that is basically all based off, if you look at the majority of people, it's based off attachments, control, confinement. Because really, what the
That's something I agree with. You know, love. I've said it before. Human love is kind of, you know, it's conditional, isn't it? It's like you do this for me, I do this for you, and yeah, there's a lot of attachment and control, especially if people have a lot of insecurities and unhealed trauma. And entities use that. And again, entities use that. They use the disputes, the arguments to feed off our loose energy. But he doesn't talk about any of that. It doesn't talk about the manipulation of entities in this realm.
they're doing.
Like, you know, it's just all love. Again, it's just nonsense.
Look at how they're expressing it to other people, because the reason why they're doing that is because that's how they feel within themselves. They haven't fully understood what love really is, or loving themselves, being authentically themselves. Instead, they have hidden themselves. They have stopped being their authentic self. They put limits.
It's weird because I'm watching him speak about love and I'm trying to feel any kind of heart energy, and I don't feel anything. I don't feel any warmth. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure his cult members will let me know in the comments below.
Limits and borders on themselves, and they reflect that onto other people. I love you, but don't do this, or don't do that, and don't do that. That is conditions. You're putting conditions and limitation on another human being, and you are confining that same individual the same way that you have confined yourself within yourself. So you can never truly love unconditionally the true rawness of love unless you love yourself first. Because once you understand that, then you understand that you would never want to put a limit on yourself to begin with, and nor would you want to put a limit on somebody else. The soul and spirit, are these the same thing? Now, this is where we need to go into the soul, body, and spirit connection. And a lot of people don't understand this.
The more I think about the soul, the more I think it's probably just another straitjacket. You know, just like the physical body is a straitjacket. You know, like those Russian dolls where you have one that goes into the other, goes into the other, goes into the other, goes into the other. I feel like that's probably I believe that we're probably just spirit, but we have all these overlays. You know, we have all these astrological overlays, digital overlays, obviously the chakras as well, which I'm hearing more and more people, by the way, talking about how the chakras are, you know, entities are siphoning our energy through that. Loose farms are siphoning our energy through the chakras. That's good because, you know, finally the message is getting out there about those. But yeah, I feel like it's the soul. It's funny. No one ever calls me, right? And I've got a phone call on my phone. Let me just turn that off. How weird. Yeah. Well, at least you know the video's raw, right? And I'm not planning or reading from a script. So yeah, funny that. Just as I was talking about the soul, really weird that happened then.
So your soul is the infinite. It is the source of all things. It's even what is considered the Father. So if you look into religious texts, they'll say that the Father created all things and is the source of all things. Well, what is the Father? The Father is your soul. Each individual soul is the source of light for everything. The reason why the sun shines is because of you. The reason why there's light in all of creation is because of you.
Yeah, because we're the batteries. Nothing to do with the source. We power this whole thing. This is why they need us here. This is why it's a farm. And he never tells us the truth. He never says, hey, look, guys, it's a farm. He wants to say that everything's love and we're all love and love, 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 love. It's ironic, isn't it? Like, this place couldn't be anything further from what he describes.
Are the birthers of all light within everything, and we give life to everything.
Yeah,
Because if we
batteries.
weren't here, there would be no light within this creation that we're in. There would be no sun shining.
Yeah, let's translate that. If we weren't here, we wouldn't be. There would be no batteries that could power the farm for these energies to feed on our loosh. So it's a half truth. Yeah, it wouldn't. It probably wouldn't exist. We're powering the place. It's a cycle. We're pumping gasoline into this evil system, which he thinks or he says we create via our beliefs and our thoughts.
We give the very light to the sun to shine for us. We're seeing our reflection. We're seeing our light. We're seeing our divinity with everything around us, good and bad. So understand the soul is that, and that's you. Individually, you keep your personality, you keep everything that is you, but
So weird, it keeps swapping.
you are not finite to anything. You have no.
It's almost like, you know what, like when a policeman or someone says stop, like that, pay attention. That's what I'm getting with that. It's like, it's why they use the color red in a lot of news channels. They use the color red because it's stop, pay attention, and then the blue. They use blue because that makes the information more malleable for the subconscious. It sinks into the subconscious. Everything they do. This is why people can't ignore these things, this symbology, right? They know the power that these things have on our subconscious. So when we see a hand like that, you might not think there's anything to it, but that hand is actually doing something that you don't consciously understand. This is why people need to learn the language of symbology. If you learn the language, if you learn the language of symbology, don't get me wrong, I don't know it all yet, obviously, but you will not be you're cutting your chances of being deceived down by about 50% because they're all putting this stuff out there. You know, the little things like the brick walls, Masonic brick walls, and this hand. You can literally put on a YouTube video. As soon as you see those things, you say, okay, it's not for me. And I've done that, you know, where I put on something and, you know, they'll be flashing the one eye or putting the finger to the lips or some kind of weird stuff like this. I'll be like, okay, I'm out. I know who that is. You can't just disregard these things, right? The monarch butterflies, as I said at the start, you can't just, the cult members just pass them. Oh, well, you know, butterflies are butterflies. Why have you got a problem with butterflies? Well, you don't understand what butterflies symbolize.
Borders, restrictions, or boundaries. The soul doesn't have that. And this is why
yeah, but we do have that. We do have that. Look at the frequency fence that people talk about. People unable to exit because of the frequency fence. So saying and looking at what really is going on, there's two different things.
It's impossible to touch your soul. You cannot touch the infinite. You cannot touch that which it doesn't have a beginning, nor does it have an end to it.
Yeah, it all sounds great. Yeah, wonderful. You know, it's more of that like new age feel good factor stuff. Yeah, okay, touch the infinite. It's all love. It's wonderful. It's great. He's just telling us what new age is telling us without telling us anything.
That's you. That's very important to understand because the body comes from the physical manifestation based off the soul's will. So we are.
Whoa. Hold up there, Darius, right? So we willed ourselves to have these human bodies with an evil nervous system that makes us feel excruciating pain. Because if you're going to talk about the human body, you've got to talk about all of it. And these people that tell you that the body's wonderful, what about the nervous system? What about the people that spend years in pain with debilitating illnesses, diseases, injuries? People just with back pain that they've had all their lives. The body, in the way it decays. He won't talk about that. Doesn't make people feel good. Does not make people feel good, so he won't talk about it. I haven't watched this video, but let's see. Let's see if he mentions the holistic human body experience before he says how wonderful it is that we created this with our soul's will. Okay, if you created your human body, guys, let me know in the comment below. Would you create it with an evil nervous system that makes you feel excruciating pain?
We're actually created in the image of the soul. So our soul wants to experience within this creation that we're in, and it manifests a body. So the body is the reflection of the soul, and within the body we have a spirit. Now, a spirit is like memories. So a lot of people are like, well, I can't tap into my infinite self. Well,
see how it, see how he just didn't mention anything about the trials and tribulations of having a human body. Didn't even talk about it. Just went on to the next thing. Peeing and pooping and having to maintain it all the time.
When I go back to the source of all things, then I tap into my higher self. Not necessarily true. No, see, you are the highest version of yourself in this body here right now in forgetfulness. And when you return back home, you remember all of your memories in the
forgetfulness. Okay, so he is admitting that we come here with our memory wiped. So let's see if he expands on that. Because that's a really important point, Darius. If you're basically saying you come here with forgetfulness, you need to expand on that. If we come here with our memory wiped, like I say that we do and others in this field say that we do, you need to fully explain what you're talking about there. Let's see if he does.
The reason why you do certain things and why you do certain things, all of those memories return to you. But within the body, you do have a spirit, and the spirit is, you could say, is memories. It's also thought forms. Yeah.
Glazed over it. He said it, glazed over it. That is the most... If there was one part of this entire conspiracy, in all aspects of it, like the politics side, the health side, the soul trick side, the entities side, the most important piece of knowledge that you can know is that you came here with your memory wiped. Because once you know that, you can see the scam. You can see it. And no one then can tell you that Earth is a school, because it cannot be if your memory is wiped. And he just glazed over it like it was nothing. Oh, you come here with your memories. Like, oh, but by the way, your spirit and your soul and yada yada. Sometimes it's not what these people say, it's what they don't say.
Look at a spirit like this. If I right now were to think of something, I put that thought form in my field. Scientifically proven, we have an electromagnetic field that surrounds us. But we just can't see it because we're only decoding 1% of the light spectrum, or 1% of the frequency band. But once you come out of the body, you could see 100% of the light spectrum, 100% of the frequency bands that are not visible to our physical eyes. This is including the thought forms that are physical. They are actually physical manifestations. So when you have a thought and you keep on thinking of something negative or positive, but if you keep on
here we go. He's going to blame us all for all the negative things that are going on. It's our fault that there's famines because we're focusing on famines. It's our fault that these PDFs are doing stuff with kids and having rituals with them. That's our fault because we're focusing on the negative. It's our fault that they're spraying stuff in the sky, barium, strontium, aluminium on us. We're focusing on that. We're attracting that. Absolute new age, new cage horse shit.
Thinking of something, you can basically make a thought form into a creation. Classic example of this. Typically when people come out of their bodies, they will see whatever their subconscious beliefs. They'll see whatever they've been thinking about will be presented to them, whether if that's a boogeyman. See?
Yeah, it's your fault. You're creating all of this, these entities that are feeding on your energy. You're creating these loosh farms. I mean, you see what he's basically trying. Yeah, he's just basically blaming us for anything bad that may happen to us in this dimension or the fourth dimension.
The boogeyman itself is the negative spirit dwelling within the physical body. And it's a negative spirit only because we give belief into it, which then makes that thought form into a physical manifestation.
So we're all just making up this idea that there's these entities that are feeding on our energy, right, Darius?
Only able to have influence over the physical body and the soul just because we believe it.
Mm-mm. See the deception? Absolutely deny. What about, all these schizophrenics that are, got all these attachments, getting the constant inorganic thoughts in their head, telling them to kill people and to kill themselves and all of this stuff. People feeling drained and, it's just absolute deception.
Think about what I said. What came first? The soul is the creator of all things, including the body and the spirit that's within the body.
So again, if we're creating this realm with our thoughts and everything bad here is because of us, is basically translated what he's saying, then what is this world like it is? The reason we have passports and money and we're going to have digital ID and data centers and all of that stuff. So on that basis, then we are creating this with our thoughts. There's no evil, entities or people here that want to do that and are doing that. This is all down to us, our creation, our thought forms, and all of this nonsense. It's basically what he's saying. It's our fault. Because surely if this was true and we were creating with our thoughts here, then everything would be utopian. We'd all be floating off in our unicorns. Everything would be love and light. Because naturally we wouldn't focus on those evil things, right? We're only looking at those evil things because that's what's going on.
It doesn't matter what belief systems you have within a spirit within you. It has no power over you unless you believe it to be so. This is why nothing could ever touch or entrap you, the soul, unless you believe it to be so.
That's the deception. People are being tricked here. People are being tricked here, round and round again, who don't even know about the soul trick. They're dying, they're being shown the light tunnel, there's a magnetism, the entities are showing up as Jesus, God, they're being deceived, they're going for life reviews, they're being deceived, they're being manipulated, guilt-tripped. This has got nothing to do with their beliefs, Darius. This is a system in place. That's why it's called a solar system. luring the soul into the system. So when you say that people are creating this with their thoughts and because they believe in it, that's what's happening, you are a deceiver. And this, my friends, is why he is going viral everywhere. This is why he is on every single channel. This is why he's getting thousands of views. Because he's trying to tell you, he wants you to believe that this isn't really a system that's recycling you. This is all down to your own creations. It's all in your mind. You're making it up.
Belief in it to be so gives your power away to the very belief. And therefore, because the soul is the infinite cannot...
I can't believe how many hundreds and thousands of people are being sucked in by this parasite.
Have any limits, borders, boundaries, or limitations. You cannot have ultimate expression of freedom with a limitation. And so even you yourself as the soul can put yourself in a prison.
Again, it's a system. What is a system? Something that is set up. Just like we have a system here, it's something that is organized. It's something that, a system is something that is in place already, despite our beliefs about it. It's a system.
Due to your own beliefs, due to your own will. Think about it this way too. We believe in many things.
I just get so angry when I try not to, guys. I try not to. But these people, I get angry for two reasons. These people are very, very good deceivers. Very, very good actors and actresses. Well, some of them. The New Agers, maybe not so much. But then I get angry. And it's okay to feel angry despite what the New Age tells you. Get angry that so many people just fall for this stuff. You know, just a talking head. Yeah, he's good looking. All right. Fair play. Hold my hands up. He's got the vibe going on, if you like all that stuff. And then just people are mesmerized. The discernment goes out the window. Then they hang off every word. They don't go through it. They ignore the symbology. They ignore the, hang on a minute, but then what about this and what about that?
Like the financial system, currency, governments, etc. Money only exists and has value because we, the people, believe it to have value.
Yeah, that's true. That's a half-truth. But you try living and existing without money. I mean, obviously you can grow food and stuff, but they make it so difficult for people. Like to buy land is super expensive, you know, and then everything else. And so it's all very well saying that our belief in it makes it. That's true, right? But the system that's already in place doesn't allow for that freedom to express itself. Because if you go out and you try to get something without money, you're going to be laughed at. Because it's a slave planet. It's a prison planet. This is what he won't admit. This is what won't leave his mouth. He won't tell you what this place really is.
It's only our belief. The moment that someone stops believing in money, therefore it has no value. And this is the same thing when...
All right, you go out, right, Darius? Because you obviously think that, and I do agree. But you go out, you go to your local grocery store and you say, hey, look, I'm just going to take this because I don't believe in money. And you see what happens with you. You will be thrown in prison because it's a prison planet. That would be called stealing. You will then get beaten up by goons in clown suits, thrown into a wagon and put into a prison cell. That's what will happen. So yes, it's true, but because this is a prison planet, something that you can't admit, because you want everyone to think everything's love, you will be put in jail.
When it comes to spirits. Negative thought forms, manifestations turned into negative spirits dwelling within people, or in the field of all things that people could tap into and sense those things. But they only have power based off your mere belief in them. Because the moment you pull your soul's will and your belief out of those things, therefore it has no power. Has no power.
And that would work if everyone, 7 billion people, all said, you know what, money's a scam. We're not doing it anymore. We're just going to barter. That would work. But the fact is, because it's a prison planet, we get thrown in prison.
Over anybody. And this is why there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear in anything. And I promise every single one of you, if you believe what I'm saying, that not one thing will ever touch you. In the out-of-body state, in these.
So let's all believe what Darius is saying, right? We're all going to go to the supermarket. Let's test it out, right? Let's all go to the supermarket this afternoon, right? Fill up your trolleys, guys. Fill up your trolleys. Get whatever you want. Go to the checkout. Walk past the checkout. And when some goon in a security suit stops you, you say, I don't believe in money. I'm walking out with this stuff. Let's see how many of us will get arrested. Because if you follow Darius's advice, nothing will ever happen to you. I'll take a pass, thanks, with your weird hand signal.
These self-imposed prisons through the thought forms that you believe. Stop imprisoning yourself. Understand that the soul cannot be touched, and stop putting.
I see why he's being promoted now. I see why he's being pushed. It's just like all the others. The Matrix wants you to think it's your fault. And it wants you to think that this is something that it's not.
Yourself in prisons. That's the soul, body, spirit, is how I would explain it.
Oh, here we go.
You cannot have unconditional love with a judgment.
When did I would never have guessed he would have come out with the whole "you're not allowed to judge" card. Straight out of the New Age, New Cage. This whole idea of judgment is bad, right? Of course they want you to believe that judgment is bad. They don't want you judging. What is judging? It's the first step to discerning. What happens when you discern? You actually come to conclude what is truth or what is false. So they don't want you thinking, as I said before. They don't want you in the mind. They don't want you discerning. They don't want you judging. This is why all these new agers say, hey, you're full of judgment. Even though they're judging you by saying you're full of judgment. We need to judge more, especially when it comes to what happens when we leave the body and when we die. I'm gonna be judging like a motherfucker, right? And I'm not gonna feel bad about that. So these people, they put themselves on camera and tell you not to judge because the system, the Matrix, does not want you judging. I broke all of this down in my the New Age Deception, where I went through all the New Age deceptions in half an hour. I uploaded that about 3 weeks ago. You can look at that. I talk about this. It's pushed everywhere in the New Age. Don't judge. It's wrong to judge. No, we need to judge.
You cannot have unconditional love with a judgment. And that is one of the unbreakable truths of all things in this creation. You cannot have ultimate expression of freedom with a limitation.
Can you imagine people taking this on when they pass over and you've got a masquerading reptilian entity telling you, oh, come to the light, and you need to come back for your 500th incarnation, and you're like, oh well, I shouldn't judge because Darius told me, so I'll just accept. See how dangerous this is. It sounds wonderful. It sounds, no judgment, love, spirit, connecting with this, and lovely, great. It's dangerous.
Just as you cannot have unconditional love with a judgment. But judgment and discernment are two different things.
Oh, you are talking about discernment then?
A lot of people misunderstand when I say that. And I'm going to give you a very clear example of this. If you point to something and you say that is harmful, That's not judgment. That's discernment. That's pointing out what's being done.
Yeah, but the whole idea of judgment is that you can get to things before the bad stuff happens, right? You can't discern something after the event has happened. You know, just see the nuances here. He's saying, yeah, calling something bad out after it's happened is very different from discerning and judgment before something bad happens to you or someone else. That's why you need to judge.
Judgment would be this. If you see that act being done and then you say to that individual, you are unworthy of love itself because of the act, and you basically deem the individual worthy of the very act itself, that's judgment, because every single soul is worthy of love. Every single
Oh yeah, let's just love evil. Let's just love all these PDFs that go around sacrificing kids and all of that stuff. Just an absolute horseshit. Just
soul is worthy of home. The moment that you say you have caused harm, now you need to suffer for eternity. That's judgment, and that's not true.
It's not judgment. That's the thing. If someone's done something really bad, yeah, maybe there should be a punishment. But judgment is like if you meet someone and you're trying to work out what sort of person they are, and you get a feeling, and then they say something that you think is off, then that's judgment, and that's healthy. This is what we should be doing, especially with people like him that's being pushed everywhere.
Everybody's worthy of it. If you have a fruit tree, a mango tree, in this mango tree, you plant hundreds of them. And one mango tree doesn't fruit for one season. You don't go to the mango tree and say you are unworthy of bearing fruit ever because you didn't fruit this year. No, the mango tree still has the
You can't really compare a mango tree to someone that's robbed, raped, or killed someone, or done something with kids, can you? I mean, it's a little bit different.
Capacity to fruit next season and next season. And it's not unworthy of that which is what it is. So you could...
Okay, he goes off on these tangents where he just says a load of nonsense that really doesn't mean anything.
Say to a mango tree, you didn't fruit this year. That's not judgment. But then saying you didn't fruit this year and now you will never fruit again, you are unworthy of bearing mangoes ever, then that's the judgment. That's the judgment.
Oh, but it's all right for these evil entities to send us back into a human body because we didn't learn our lessons, right? Isn't that the same thing that you're talking about? Oh, you had an argument with Joe Bloggs in 2004, and here's how he felt. See, look, you know, we're not judging you, but you know, weren't your best. So you need to go back for another incarnation. What is that if it's not judgment? The irony and the hypocrisy from these people.
Judgment. Because
I'm still waiting for him to talk about the memory wipe, because he mentioned it but said nothing else about it. You know, are we not allowed to judge that as well?
Unconditional love does not judge. Unconditional love would say to that tree and say to every individual, I know what you've done, but that doesn't mean that I'll ever stop loving you. And you're never unworthy of love.
Have you noticed how much these people talk about unconditional love? Like, it's just repeated over and over and over again. What is repetition? It's a form of hypnosis.
Unconditional love, or home itself, because everybody's returning there. And everybody, no matter what they've done in life, will always be loved all the same. That is unconditional love. It never stops loving, no matter what's done. But it can say and point out that which is unloving. Okay, you see people that are in harm.
Why do you keep flipping?
People that are in harm and they say, well, my
What is
love is
this?
causing harm. No, that is a lie. Love doesn't cause harm. What that is love in disguise.
Do you know what does cause harm? Misplaced love, like what he's talking about, where you just think everything is love, there is no evil, everything's love and light, and then you get the rug pulled, then you get deceived, then there's a dump in the punch bowl because you're up there in cloud cuckoo land, completely ungrounded, and then the rug gets pulled. Where has your love got you then?
In pain. It's love lying. It's love fronting. Love saying that it's love when it's love not. That's not love at all. Love doesn't cause harm. Love loves.
Again, I don't feel any kind of heart energy from the man that's banging on about love. Again, is it just me? Like, tell me if I'm missing something. Are you guys feeling this massive burst of love when you listen and watch him?
And everybody knows what I'm saying is true.
No.
Because you could feel what I'm saying.
Don't gaslight people, Darius. Not all of us are that naive.
Get past the words. Get past the mental constructs and feel what I'm saying. Love does not cause harm. If you are in that state, it would never...
You know what the highest form of love for me is? And I've said this before, courage. Courage. Telling people what they might not want to hear because you know that it's going to benefit them. Making really difficult decisions. That kind of thing. The dogs have started now. Hopefully they won't disturb the video too much.
It would never be to cause harm to anything, but only love it. The opposite of love is fear. And where does fear come from? Where is the core? Where is it born from? Fear is born from loss. Loss of something. And in love, there is no loss.
Oh,
because when you go home...
Just repeating himself now. They always do this, these new agers. They just go on and bang on and on about the same old things.
You're going back to love, and nothing is ever lost in love. There is no fear in love. The only thing that's in love is absolute freedom. And in that freedom, you have love, you have joy,
I'm sure a part of why he's there as well is to keep people within this construct. Like I've not really heard him talk about getting out of this construct completely. Well, he thinks that we make it all up ourselves, but because I think that if you're still messing around in the astral, I think you're still within this quantum computer, so to speak.
You have courage.
Oh, you mentioned courage.
And many people have mistaken the anger that they feel. It's not anger that you feel. That's not really anger, because anger is still the opposite of love, but it's not anger. It's actually your feeling courage within you, because courage is love. It does things in the act of love, in courage. It is...
Okay, credit where it's due. He mentioned courage. When they say something good, I'll give them credit. I said it, courage is love. Nothing wrong with feeling angry, though, about injustices. So righteous anger can drive us to great change.
It's courageous to do something that is true in what love would do. So even the anger within you that you think is anger, it is actually love trying to express itself through your whole body to do what love would do, which is all things good. That's unconditional love.
Can we change the subject now, Darius, please?
I want you to also ponder on
he's
this.
Flipped again. What is that?
I've had a life review.
Oh.
Every near-death experience has a life review. But I want to drive what I'm saying home to you, so you got to actually have something that's tangible that you could say, oh yeah, that is true. Why is it every every single life review. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now. But every single life review shows you these two things. Where did you show love? And where you did not show love.
But they're not judging you. They tell you they're not judging you, but where did you show love? When did you show love? Did you show love? See, again, it's not consistent with the research that I've done on my channel and others like it. We know that these entities judge. We know they tell us all the time that they don't judge, and then you get stuffed back into a body and they make you feel the way the person felt, right? This is, again, he won't mention that, but how many NDEs have I looked at and reviewed where they're having a life review and they make the person feel like the person that they hurt at the time. They make them feel their emotions. And then they feel judged. They judge themselves. They feel bad. They feel guilty. And then these entities swoop in with, well, you know, the solution is you can have another life and you can resolve your karma, and, you know, you might be able to ascend, or you might be able to reach our levels if you have another life. But, you know, he's talking about the life review, but not really talking about it. He's just saying that it's your fault. You didn't love enough. When did you love? When did you didn't love enough? When were you, like, there wasn't enough love? So, okay, is that carte blanche then for us to be recycled again? And again, I'm still waiting to hear about the memory wipe, which is the most important thing.
And you're showing these. You're not showing these in a place of judgment on you. Because,
again, they make you feel how the person felt that you hurt or you harmed. So you are being judged because they're making you judge yourself. It's a lie, Darius. Tell the truth.
no one's judging you based off anything that you've done, but you're showing, look, all these things you've done in love. And look, all these things that you didn't do in love.
And who are these fuckers anyway, telling me I didn't love enough or when to love? Like, that's up to me. You don't get to tell me when to do that. I'm on a hell realm here, right? It's hard enough as it is. You ain't going to tell me when, where, and who I should love and how much, right? You're not the jury of me. I'm the jury of me.
You see, many people may think that that's judgment, but that's not, because it's not basically condemning you equal to the act and never worthy of above that act. But it still shows you those things. We cast judgment on ourselves.
I mean, to say that we're not being judged at a life review when you've got people or entities there showing you on your screen your life. It's like, just that whole setup shows you're being judged, right?
Based off those things. And the unforgivable sin is a sin that you cannot forgive yourself for. And the regrettable is the unforgettable on the other side. This is why there is nothing that you could ever do to try to cause punishment on somebody than the very punishment that they will cast on themselves through looking at themselves. And every soul...
What about all the punishment that goes on in this realm? What about the punishment just for speaking the friggin' truth and the censorship and all of this? You know, but he's in denial that there's anyone doing this, right? If you take what he says, we created this prison ourselves. There's no evil entities, there's no evil people, there's none of this stuff going on where they're drinking the blood of children and all that stuff.
Looks at themselves. And when they do and they see those things, guess what? They are still all loved, all the same.
I'm sure there must be some kind of spell that saying the word love induces on people, because he must have said it, I don't know, like 1,000,000 times in this video. Love, 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 love.
They're all loved. and they all return back home. In the home that they return to, yes, it is the other side, but it's within themselves. They return back to love again, and that is home.
Yeah, but is it really though? That's not what I've found out on this channel. People are not just returning home. You want people to think that's home. That's what you're there for. You know, when they're in the astral prison, you want them to die and believe they're at home when they're just in another prison cell. That's why you're there. That's why you're promoted on all these channels. That's why you're pushed everywhere. That's why you're on Gaia TV. I mean, for God's sake, if anyone listening to anyone on Gaia TV needs to give their head a wobble.
Think about what everybody is searching for here.
Oh, here we go. Love,
they're searching
love,
for
love,
solutions
love.
here. But the solutions that they're searching for doesn't come from here. The solutions come from the other side where you were before you were born, expressed into the physical body and into this world, into this heaven.
Heaven? Into this heaven? Are you having a laugh? Like, do you know something that I don't? Am I missing something here? Did he just say into this heaven? Oh, God.
Nothing will ever be accomplished.
It's so freaking boring as well. There's just no charisma. It's just a decent looking human talking head, like with a loads of propaganda. Matrix agent.
Not one thing will ever be accomplished within this place if it's not done in love. Otherwise, you will always have systems based off of controlling something, somebody, which are all things that love are not, and they are all things that are not good. They're not. And so therefore the true heaven that people are searching for will never be born here, because it needs to be born within yourself first and express.
It won't be born here because this place is set up for trauma and suffering. It's been infiltrated, just like you're an infiltrator.
Rest here. This is why returning home, every single person that returns home, not one it will always experience a joyous event, because once you return to home, once you return to love, it's a joyous thing.
Yeah, it's joyous because, well, firstly, you're out of the human body, which, like I say, we're incarcerated in. So you don't have all the heaviness, dense emotions and the physical pains and all of that stuff. And then you get love bombed by false light technology, which gives you an overwhelming sense of elation, which is fake. So, of course, and then you're met with these masqueraded entities that you think is your Granny Edna and your Auntie Julie that you haven't seen for 25 years. Of course you're going to be, and then they take you to a simulated heavenly realm where it's all love and there's rainbows and unicorns. Of course you're going to feel like that, because that's the setup. That's the scam.
Joy is love. And it's what we all search for here. Whether if it's going for an ice bath, or if it's hiking somewhere, you do those things because...
What if you're in Yemen, right? Ice baths? You got to apply this to everyone, Darius, not just the Western culture that sit in Starbucks with their pumpkin lattes, right? What about the people stuck under rubble in Venezuela? What about the children being trafficked out of the earthquake in Venezuela? What about their ice baths, Darius?
Because you are trying to find joy in life. So everything that you do...
You know what my joy is in life? Trying to find the truth. And that's what they don't want you to do. That's why they want you in this kind of la, don't judge, don't be in the mind, just think happy thoughts, never get angry. Like, they want you there because then you won't go further in your journey for the truth, the real truth, and sovereignty, your own sovereignty, most importantly. putting away, getting rid of all these saviors and belief in authority that keeps you away from your sovereignty.
Should be striving towards joy itself.
So in the morning we all wake up and we're all skipping around, right? And we're like, okay, Darius, we're going to embody this joy. And everyone's, I mean, it would be fake anyway, because you still know you're in a prison, you still know you've got a body, you still know that there's kids being trafficked. So for me, what if just knowing that there's kids being trafficked and other people are suffering, I can't ever be fully joyful in this place, even if everything in my life is hunky-dory and I have it better than a lot of people, right? But even if everything was perfect in my life, just knowing that there's all that other suffering going on would stop me from feeling the totality of joy. Because I don't want to be in a realm where kids are being trafficked. I don't want to be in a realm where there are people starving, where governments are abusing, where they're draining the land, where, you know, in where I used to live in the Caribbean, they're messing with the oceans. Now we have all this seaweed that's killing the life there. Like, I can't be truly joyful. It would be like papering over the cracks. Once you know what this place is and what goes on here and you acknowledge it for what it is. So this whole idea that everyone's got to be joyful, like, it's not like everyone would wake up being joyful and everything, all this stuff would just go away. That's just spiritual bypassing, which is what they want you doing. This is what Darius wants you doing.
Fulfillment. Look at where you place energy. The negative things in life, what do you give more power to? The negative things.
Oh yeah, we can't look at anything negative, can we, Darius? You know, because we're going to draw more of it in, you know. Let's not look at all the suffering and all that. Let's just, you know, don't focus on that.
Or love itself. You have to pick one. Standing in the middle is no choice. What that is, the spiraling void down. Making no decision is actually not part of a solution either. You see, they've manipulated so many people to think that love is sitting back and doing nothing at all. And what a great job they've done. Because now what people think the highest state of love is to sit in between and do absolutely nothing in the face of the very harm that's been done to people.
You just said don't focus on the negative. Like, see how they say one thing and do another. It's like they're not consistent. They're not clear in their messages.
That is what love is not. And that's not a judgment. That is what love does not do. Love does not just sit in the middle and do nothing in the face of harm being done all around them. This is why I said the anger that people feel has been confused.
He just said the opposite. I don't get it. I don't get what point he's trying to make. Look, nice little hand signal there. You know, you blink, you miss it. Right in your face, the pyramid.
With anger, it's not anger that you feel. It's courage to do things good in the face of harm. That's love trying to really express itself, but you're denying it. That's the power of love. It's the same power of love that a mother would push mountains apart just to save her child. That's love. It has been so confused what the power of this is. Love itself even has the power.
Does anyone else feel more confused about love than ever before after watching this? Like, I'm not joking. I'm like, what is he even talking about at this point?
Or to change the cells within you back to their purest state.
Just think love and light.
You could say reversing your age can be done in love. Because once you hold the highest state of love from the other side.
Stop talking about love.
What do you think that starts to do with the waters and cells within you? When you are in a stress state, why is it you could die from stress? Why is that? Because the very stress.
I'm not being funny, right? But this realm, like, how can you not feel stressed? It's like, how can you not? I mean, you've got to survive. You've got to put food on the table. You've got to put a roof over your head. You've got problems with your families. Your mum's getting sick. Your auntie's getting sick. Someone over there's just died. There's genocide going on over there. There's food shortages over here. There's oil shortages over there. The New World Order creeping up with their digital ID and the digital. And then he's coming on and saying, "Don't feel stressed." It's like these people. I've got a friend, she's a lovely lady. We're good friends, but we have this banter. Like she's always talking about regulating the nervous system. She'll probably watch this video, and I always joke like, how can you regulate your nervous system here? It's just chaos.
Stress itself is the opposite of love itself, and because it's the opposite of love, it does all things destructive to yourself and even the waters and cells within your
telling
body.
You who he is.
That's why it kills you. Love does the opposite of.
I saw another interview with him actually. I can't remember where it was, where he said that he was talking to some mentor that he used to know, and when he said the name of the mentor, it was Mr. Evil, something evil. Like, I kid you not, I can't remember which channel it was on.
Of that. It does the opposite.
One day, I feel with him there's going to be a big rug pull somewhere. Like, he's got so much of a cult following that there's going to be an almighty rug pull where he just literally sends everyone over a cliff. I mean, he's already kind of doing it, but with the whole like, oh, you don't get judged at life reviews and memory wipe, but well, you forget everything, but let's not talk about that. Like,
home is what we all return to. Every single person returns home. There's not one person that is not going to return back. The home is within yourself first. You need to find home within yourself. Because if you are searching for home outside of yourself, yeah, you may access home. But the thing is, if you're not it within yourself, if you're not heaven within yourself, you could reach home, but you'll never see it. You could literally be at the door of heaven itself, but if you're not heaven yourself, you will not even see it. It'll be invisible to you, but yet it's...
Why does this love seem so, like, unattainable and complex? Just
right in front of you.
Why is there like a 30-minute video all about this?
Look at all the people.
Nice little eye there. See the eye? Blink, you miss it, all-seeing eye. You can't ignore these things.
Of the perceived wealth in life, or materialistic possessions, which mean nothing. But they have these things. What many people would say is heaven in this life. But yet, because they're not heaven or enjoy within themselves, they complain and are miserable.
Gotta be joyful. You gotta be joyful, guys, in the hell realm. Darius says so.
But yet, here in this physical world, heaven has been brought to them. But they can't...
What? Say that again? Heaven has been brought to them in this physical world. Right, okay. I must be on a different time. Maybe I'm on a negative timeline. That's what he would say. That's what he would say. He's like, yeah, he's on the negative timeline. That's why he's talking like that.
Experience it, or they can't even see it because they're not it within themselves.
Oh, God.
And the same thing happens even when you're trying to search for a home. Yeah, you could go there. You could go there through controlled out-of-body states. You don't need to die to do this. But you may not even see it if you don't return back to...
I think, like I say, I think it's still keeping you in the simulation. Going back home in this context, what does that mean? What, like going back to source, getting spat back out by the AI? You know, I want more than that. I want to go deeper than that. I want to get out of this the astral, the whole construct. You know, he talks a lot about the construct, and of course they have to tell you that it's all love, because otherwise you might want to get out of the construct. And I think this is a big reason why he's being pushed, because he doesn't really, he keeps people in the mindset of the construct, and people when they die, you know, it's all love when you die, and just promoting the idea that everything's great when we pass.
Love. Because once you return back there, all things become visible to you. That state, the highest state of all things, everything that has made all things, is that state, and it's within yourself. That's it.
Thank God for that. Well, I shouldn't say that. Thank God, old habits die hard, don't they? Well, that's it, guys. I mean, you know, I'm glad I reviewed him again. He's not really saying much different from what he did a few years ago. You know, there's a lot of symbology in that you can't ignore. Look it up, right? Don't look up the bricks. Look up the, you know, the hand sign. It was very weird. It kept changing. You know, he mentioned the forgetfulness in this lifetime, but didn't really go into the memory wipe. He said about the non-judgment at the life review, which we know is BS. You know, he's talking about how everything's love and it's our fault that we created, you know, all this mess. And, you know, if anything bad happens, and it's down to our quality of thoughts and what we're creating. You know, the Matrix always wants us to blame ourselves. You know, the jury's out for me. It's always been out for me on him. I think he's a deceiver. And I think we're still yet to see the real reasons why he's being pushed so much out there. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. I'm sure I'm going to get a huge amount of his cultists in the comments. So I look forward to that. I'll see you on the next video. Take care, guys.